sister 20 and I 18 female. Used to be close, but when I was 5, I got sick up until I was 15. Because I was sick, my parents often stopped her from doing normal things on my account. Initially, I was okay with her doing kid stuff, but at one point, I got bitter and guilt-tripped my parents and her to let her stay with me. But I did that up until I was 12. Then I noticed that it was leading to a strain in our relationship and her hating me. I tried to get back on her good side, because she was no longer enthusiastic about staying with me. Like before when we would play games and she would sing and do things with me. I tried to convince my parents to let her do stuff because she'd come back from school, then spend 5 to 7 hours with me, then go home, and that cycle would repeat itself. But my parents insisted on it and thought I was being brave, even though I would beg them to let her have a life. When I turned 15, I had surgery and was doing better, but I was still dealing with some side effects from the drugs I was taking, which only lasted a year. My parents had finally let her do things that she wanted to do. This was midway through her junior year, but the damage was already done. She had stopped communicating with my parents and me. Once, like when we'd sit down to dinner, she'd only say one word to my parents and then lock the door to her room. And she didn't have any friends. She told my aunt, and my aunt told my parents because she was worried about her mental health. My parents tried to do family therapy before she left for college, but she still didn't communicate. She can literally spend a whole month without saying a word to anyone. When she went to college, she cut off our parents and me. She changed her number and everything. Last year, after doing some research, I found her on Instagram. She seemed much happier. I found out about her university and applied there. I wanted to rekindle our relationship now that she seemed to be in a much better mental space. Last semester, I contacted her through her university email and told her we could meet for coffee. She ignored all of my emails. This year, I decided to be more direct, so I went to her student organization and told her hi. She ignored me, but her friends asked who I was, and I told them I was her sister, and they seemed surprised because she didn't mention me. She then told me we should go to a cafe. She chewed me out for picking this university. She referred to it as her safe place. I may have gone about this the wrong way, but at the same time, I just wanted us to be close again. Am I the idiot? She's the only one I feel I can talk to. I just want a relationship with her. I have no friends since spending so much time in the hospital impacted my ability to socialize. I only feel comfortable talking to her. You are the idiot. She went no contact, so instead of respecting her decision, you stalked her, applied, and went to the same college, and expected her to be happy. I won't be surprised if your sister transfers to another school. You stole her childhood. Leave her adulthood alone. Tino didn't steal her childhood. The parents did. Sabap is now a grown adult with control over her actions and is actively choosing to torment and stalk someone. But I also believe that her emotional growth is stunted. It doesn't seem their parents gave them the emotional support they needed. She most likely doesn't understand what she's doing is wrong, but to her illness, she probably has a hard time making friends, never learned how to properly express her emotions because her parents just gave in to her every whim. And due to how emotionally stunted she is, most people in her age range probably think she's immature and needy. She seems like an incredibly lonely individual. I completely agree with you. Please seek therapy. Your parents should have gotten your sister and you individual therapy, not family therapy. They don't get any props there. I suspect that even that was about you. You're acting just like you did as a kid, putting your wants before her needs. It's time to grow up and leave your sister alone. She finally gets to live her life the way she wants, and that's without you. Update, why is everyone saying I stalked her? I checked her public Instagram and found her student organization on her public LinkedIn. I'm not a stalker. And since she didn't have friends in high school, and I'm still struggling to make friends, I thought our reconciling could be a good thing for both of us. We could be a duo. It didn't really occur to me that she would make friends in her first and second years because I didn't make any friends in high school. I was trying to help us both since we are both antisocial. I wasn't the one controlling her. My parents were the ones who controlled her. I feel like it's unfair to blame her childhood on me, especially since I was bedridden for most of it. She's not the only victim of my parents' decisions. I honestly don't understand why she blames me and resents me. I'm 21, I'm heavily pregnant with twins, and I have a toddler son. My husband, 27, insisted that we have his mom move in with us due to her losing her husband 6 months prior and old age. I, from the get-go, was uncomfortable with my mother-in-law moving in because she's hugely nitpicky and always finds something wrong with the way I do things. I'm from another culture than her and grew up in the West, while she's South Asian. I do my best to respect her culture, but she constantly mocks mine and how I grew up. And since she's my husband's mother, I've been doing my best to please her. But no matter what I do, she finds some kind of fault with everything I do. It got so stressful for me that it left me in tears. This time, she asked me to cook a dish from her homeland, which I'd never eaten before. Still, she refused to help me prepare it. So I spent all night trying to research it the night before, only for her to take one bite and tell me it was awful and throw her whole plate out. With cleaning, she's always watching me, telling me that I'm not cleaning right and that she doesn't understand how her son could marry someone who doesn't even know how to be a wife. I just feel like she's disrespectful. And when I try to ask her to treat me better, she'll run to my husband, claiming I was disrespectful to her. She constantly orders me around, asking me to go to the store for her, clean up after her, or cook for her, only to say I did it horribly. I'm pregnant and exhausted and can no longer cope with this. I told my mother-in-law that enough was enough and that I was no longer doing anything for her until she learned to treat me respectfully, whether she liked it or not. I'm the mother of her grandson and unborn granddaughters, which makes me family. She started insulting me and told me that women out here don't know how to respect their elders, and she's disgusted her son chose me. She ended up calling my husband, and of course my husband heard her side of the story and sympathized with his mom without even listening to me. He's upset and thinks I should put more effort into mending this relationship with his mom, especially because she's still grieving. But the thing is, I brought this to my husband's attention enough times, and all he did was downplay his mom's actions and claim that she'd warm up to me soon enough, which she hasn't. So am I the idiot for telling my mother-in-law I'm done doing anything for her? I'm the idiot. And you know that this will never stop. Your husband has shown where his loyalty lies, and it's not with you. It's with his mom. As such, you can expect this to continue until mom dies. You must leave up. Protect your mental and physical health, along with your sanity. No, the heavily pregnant wife should not leave her own home. The mother-in-law needs to shut up or leave. The idiots should suffer the consequences, not the people they torment. Can simply ignore her entirely. No cooking for her. No cleaning for her. No conversation. Puppy can cater to his dear mommy since he wants her there and won't defend or support his wife. Mother-in-law will either learn to be respectful or be iced out. The thing is, it's not that simple. As we figured out earlier, her own husband is going to side with the mom, and mom will keep pressing the situation. So stressing herself, work herself out, and constantly being in a stressful environment is terrible for her health and the baby's health. Faster and easier for Op to pack up the son and move in with her family or friends who are ready to support her and not just treat her like dirt. Then she can hang up when he calls and tries to convince her she's in the wrong. Girl, let's talk. This man knocked you up when you were barely legal. Despite being in his mid-20s, he brought his mother in and always takes her side and expects you to act as her slave. And then he knocked you up again. You're barely 21 and you're going to have 3 babies. You need a divorce and get out of there immediately before you're locked deep into this abusive cycle. Please get out and stop having babies. My boyfriend, Jake, 29, and I, female, 27, have been seeing each other for a few months. Steve is Mexican-American, but he's currently working in Berlin, where I'm from. I've heard him speak Spanish on the phone many times and inquired about this, but he's never asked me if I speak it. And it just feels weird to mention it, when he didn't seem to care enough to ask if I spoke any other languages apart from German and English. Because of that, he's never really found out that I speak Spanish, despite me quite literally watching a telenovela before bed quite a few times. It kind of stings, but it is what it is. I never eavesdropped on his conversations, though. His friend from the US was visiting him, and I was meant to join them for dinner. When I did, they were speaking in Spanish, and his friend asked in Spanish if I speak it or if they should switch to English only. My boyfriend said again in Spanish, "Nah, she doesn't speak it." This kind of annoyed me because he never even asked me. So I replied to his friend in Spanish that I do, in fact, speak it. Jake got angry and red. He didn't say anything in front of his friend. But on the way home, after dropping his friend off at the hotel, he started shouting about how I humiliated him and that I'm an idiot for hiding it. I told him it's best if he went to his flat and we would talk when he calmed down. He hasn't changed his mind and still thinks I'm an idiot and I should apologize. I told my friends, and they're split on it, and I'm not sure anymore. Am I the idiot for not telling him? Not the idiot. You literally watch television shows in Spanish in front of him, and it didn't occur to him that you understand and can speak Spanish. He assumed you didn't, referred to you dismissively to his friend, and is angry that he got called on it. Find a better boyfriend. That's the humiliating thing, that he never put two and two together. LOL, like dating someone, you'd think it would come up, but if you didn't ask, and he didn't ask. You watch TV shows in Spanish, so he knows you at least understand Spanish, and now he's angry that someone asked and you answered. Just dump the boyfriend, date the friend, and go dancing. Also, your soon-to-be ex is in Europe. It's common as heck that most people speak 3+ languages. He's an idiot at best and sees you as an appendage at worst. Their relationship is probably unhealthy from both sides. How do you sometimes date for months and not care to find out about their background, education, travel history, etc.? On the flip side, how do you date someone who has spoken Spanish for months and not want to share this thing with them? My wife and I are both white, but both speak fluent Spanish. We studied it in Arizona, plus international travel. And that's something we found out about each other pretty early on the first date. I find this entire relationship either pretty hard to believe or comically shallow. My former partner and I own property in Ireland. It's where his father's from, and it ranks within our top 3 favorite places. It was his dad's engagement gift to us. He and I ended things based on circumstances out of our control. Distance and timing aren't always kind, but we're still close friends, and we still co-own a vacation home in a foreign country. The one rule we made for the property was that new flames aren't allowed to be taken there. Both of us have always respected this, and it's not something that comes up much, since most of the trips either of us takes, there are family vacations, where both of us are invited alongside siblings and parents. So it's not exactly being used for romantic getaways. I've been seeing my current girlfriend for 8 months now. I'll return to Ireland with my best friend co-owner and his brothers this summer, and my girlfriend expressed interest in tagging along. She's never been to Ireland and wanted me to play tour guide. I told her that she was technically banned from the house we would all be staying in, but she was free to get a hotel if she wanted to join us. I thought it was all very lighthearted. She'd heard me talking about the trip for a few weeks now. However, she'd only just begun expressing interest in attending, so I didn't think she was serious. It's turned into a big fight between us, where I'm being called an idiot for even considering going someplace that she's banned. Oh gee, there were a million other ways you could have handled this. You are the idiot. It seems like a situations change kind of thing to me. Yeah, don't bring whomever you're dating at the time. But if you're serious about someone, engaged or married, is the rule still going to hold fast? You've been dating your current girlfriend for 8 months. That seems like you're probably interested in something serious. Then again, if an existing agreement over co-owned property causes your girlfriend to have a huge blow-up, that might not be a relationship that's going to work out in the long term. Am I reading this right? That the ex will be on this vacation? Screw that. Yeah, if my partner had a best friend who was also an ex that was banning me from their vacation home, I'd break that stuff off faster than a Kit Kat. Siope is currently dating 2 people and needs to sort their crap out. No kidding? And the reason given they broke up was for things out of their control. This suggests to me that they'd still be together if it was up to Op. This has so many red flags for the new flame. I sincerely hope she recognizes this and runs away fast and far. You're either broken up or you're not. Regardless of reality, partners will reasonably see this as a sign. You're not ready to have someone new in your life. I get that it was an engagement gift from the ex's father. Still, once they called off the engagement, the property should have been returned to the father or left with the ex, regardless of why they broke up. Soap really has no skin in this property, as it belongs by all rights to the ex. What happens when the ex gets married and/or has children? Are they not allowed to visit the property? The longer this lasts, the more heartache it's going to cause. So, I, 29 female, have designed all the wedding dresses for my cousins, siblings, and aunts for the past decade. When my eldest sister, 35, got engaged at 24, she asked me to design her dress since I was passionate about design and she always loved my style. Her dress was a knockout. Everyone loved it. And ever since, whenever one of our relatives announces their engagement, they ask if I can design their dress for them. I've always said yes because I absolutely love doing it. It's just so much fun. Onto the issue. My cousin, 23 female, is getting married next February and called me to see when we could meet so she could share her ideas for her dress and I can start designing it. I don't like this cousin at all. Her parents spoiled her beyond rotten. I decided to still meet with her though and see if anything has changed since she's now an adult. She immediately shows me some photos of wedding dresses by Sarah Burton and tells me she wants something exactly like the pictures. I try to suggest a change in neckline or color, and she shuts it down and tells me she wants exactly that. I told her I wouldn't be making her dress, as I love designing clothes that embody their wearer and suit them, not rip off other designers so she can look fancy in a knockoff. Some of my family, and especially her and her parents, quote, broken tradition and my baby cousin's heart because she's been looking forward to having me make her wedding dress for years now. I feel kind of bad. But at the same time, she's taking the fun and bonding out of designing a wedding dress. Not the idiot. If your cousin wants a specific dress, she should just buy the specific dress. The tradition was for you to design the dresses and share these moments of creation with your family members. Of course, she and her parents are upset. The sort of dress she wants costs a lot of money. Having you do it is much cheaper. I think it's time you broke with tradition. The tradition also included asking Op if she would or could design a dress for them. Not deciding that Op would do that and just demanding an appointment to discuss details. Allow, but the odd sisters. Also, is it even legal to copy a designer dress? I feel like it would be fine as long as you weren't trying to sell it. But cousin probably would have walked around her wedding telling people that her dress was real Sarah Burton. But this wasn't a cousin feeling grateful about having a designer in the family and how gracious it is for that designer to take time and energy out of their day to create a custom dress and show even a modicum of respect by asking. This is an entitled brat demanding a service she feels entitled to. Narcissists are like that. It's everyone else's fault but their own.